Looking back, I was truly a slave to food, to the thought of food, to cooking, just anything to do with eating. I was a total slave to it. I couldn't step away from food and live my life without being affected by food. Hey carnivores, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella, the steak and butter gal. I hope you guys are having a beautifully gorgeous day. I do hope that the weather where you are is nice. Here in New York City, it's getting very chilly, very chilly. And so I've been spending a lot of time at home, but enjoyably so. Just watching more videos, learning, studying, reading, and connecting with you guys, as well as filming videos like right now. Today, I have been inspired from Instagram, like usual, to create this video. I asked you guys, how has your diet been going? Is there anything you want to improve? Or is there anything amazing that you want to tell me about that's going on in your diet? And a lot of you guys responded. I got a whole plethora of different responses. Obviously, I got so many great responses, positive feedback saying that your diet has been amazing, never better. You're so happy. So congratulations. And for those who messaged me just so defeated, hopeless, or just feeling so horrible because you fell off the wagon, you ate something that you knew you should not have, and you just feel like crap, I'm making this video for you guys. So today I'll just be sharing with you guys my best tips, what I have learned, what to do, what to eat. I want to help you guys get back on track, get back on the wagon, and get back to feeling amazing again. So first, let's address the fact that you fell off the wagon, that you ate something that was not carnivore, or you ate too much of something that really just makes you feel bad. Okay, well, it already happened. Your body has already absorbed it, digested it. Maybe you already had a horrible trip to the bathroom and you pooped it out, but you're feeling really low. Just maybe a whole cloud of depression has appeared, or your mental fog is through the roof. Like you cannot focus on one task for more than 10 seconds. That's normal. That's normal when you have been eating so clean and so great, especially when you've been eating carnivore diet for X amount of time and suddenly you eat something that is not carnivore. Maybe your skin is breaking out, your digestion is just horrible, you're experiencing maybe painful digestion, headaches, horrible sleep, just all of these negative things are happening. That is okay, just push through, trudge along, and this is what you should start doing right now. First, drink a lot of water, okay? Don't reach for ice cold water. This is my Chinese side speaking, just the things that I've learned from my Chinese mama. She always feels like warm liquids, warm things consumed of anything is much better than cold. Room temp is fine, but if you warm it up, it's always just that much more comforting and nourishing. So if you're going to drink a lot of water or coffee, try to drink it warm. Try to nourish yourself and don't shock your body with something so ice cold. So drink a lot of water to flush out everything from your system. That's what I would do first. And then let's focus on eating. Now, we have two options. We could fast, or we could eat something very nutrient dense and something very easy to digest that will help flush out the bad stuff from the body. So this is where you make a decision. If you want to fast, absolutely fine. But if you're trying to fast because you are so unhappy with yourself, maybe you gained a few pounds and you just want to starve yourself so you can quickly shed off the weight ASAP, and you just are beating yourself up for what you have done, what you ate, I don't think fasting is a great option for you, because you're just going to fall back right into the cycle of binging, restricting, eating so much of the bad stuff, and denying yourself of any food. So that type of cycle and lifestyle, going back to restricting, counting calories, starving, and I call fasting starving when your intentions are wrong. Let me just say that again. Fasting is great if your intentions and your goals are aligned, if they're correct. But if your reason to fast is to shed weight quickly, is to stop feeling so guilty about falling off the wagon, or is to just quickly get rid of something negative, that is not the right intention. And that is instead starving yourself. So maybe my opinion is controversial, or you might not agree with my opinion, but I am coming from a very, very unhealthy, restrictive way of eating. I had a history of, firstly, eating the vegan diet. I ate the vegan diet for 6 years. Now, I am not blaming the vegan diet completely for the restrictive and unhealthy eating habits I built, but the vegan diet definitely contributed to the problem. So I have this opinion that fasting can be detrimental because I used to have a very restrictive, very, very detrimental way of eating and approach to food. I would binge and then I would starve. So you could call that bulimia, you could call it an eating disorder, whatever it was, it took up my whole life. And it took up all of my mental thoughts, all of my mental energy. It completely negatively affected my quality of life. And looking back, I was truly a slave to food, to the thought of food, to cooking, just anything to do with eating. I was a total slave to it. I couldn't step away from food and live my life without being affected by food. And it's just not a way to live if you want to achieve your biggest dreams and if you want to live a happy and free life. Yeah, just thinking about it is tough because I remember just how horrible I would feel. It definitely sent my self-esteem and confidence down the gutter, down the ditch. You know, I just had zero self-confidence and I didn't want to do anything but be alone, not socialize, and just bury myself in practice at the piano, at the violin, which is good, you know, because I improved a lot during those years because I really just threw myself into my work and my studies and my career. But at the same time, me as a person, was I truly happy? Was I truly fulfilled and inspired? I was not. Back to the decision making of whether or not you should fast or just eat something carnivore. If you've had a history of restriction, if you've had a history of bulimia or any type of mild eating disorder even, I don't think you should fast. I don't think that doing a 48-hour fast or a 72-hour fast will fix everything, because guess what? You're gonna still have that desire, that tendency to want to eat all that crap, all of that sugar, all of those carbs again, and then knowing that you can heal and get it over with a long fast. That's not going to work long term. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you do that type of eating, that's not going to be sustainable because you're just going to keep falling off the wagon. You have to be in a healthy and strong mental state. Also, emotionally, you have to have a good relationship with food before you can tackle intermittent fasting or long fasts. I don't do any fasts longer than 24 hours anymore just because I feel like I can have the best relationship with food when I eat every day. This is a decision that I make because I've realized how great I feel on 1 meal a day and sometimes 2 meals a day. I just don't feel any necessity to do fast more than 24 hours. Now, my way of living is obviously going to be different from yours, but I just want to bring this up. First, ask yourself, what is the reason for you to do fast, especially if it's longer than 24 hours? Is it just to lose weight, shed weight fast, you know, get rid of the negative feelings ASAP because you fell off the wagon and it's been happening a lot? Then really reconsider, because there are other things that you can do that are way healthier, that is going to be way more sustainable. So now let me tell you what you can do. You can eat a delicious carnivore meal. And I'm not going to promote eating a variety of carnivore foods at this moment. If you fell off the wagon, I honestly feel like eating a minimal but very fatty carnivore meal would be the best option. Now, before I go on, if you have a very sensitive digestion, I really feel like having some quality bone broth made with quality bones is the first thing you should consume after you have fallen off the wagon. And I say that because bone broth, there is something so great, and the fact that it's nice and warm and it's liquid, it is so nutrient dense, it is so nourishing, and just drinking it is going to make you feel better, more comfortable, just more nourished. So if you can have the time and the ability to make some bone broth, if you have an Instant Pot, great. I always make bone broth in Instant Pot. Make yourself some bone broth. Treat yourself, take care of yourself, and make yourself some bone broth. Or tell your boyfriend, your hubby, your girlfriend, your wife to make you some bone broth. Just because you're feeling a little down and maybe you're feeling sick, bone broth is great. It's like the equivalent of chicken noodle soup, but without all the crap. Your first carnivore meal, I would really recommend eating the food that you feel best on. Now, I can't tell you exactly what food it is, but for me, I would go for a deliciously fatty, juicy steak, preferably ribeye. Depends on what I can find and afford at that moment. Just eat the perfect amount, the amount that you know you'll feel full, but not bloated and stuffed. So I would probably eat 1.5 pounds of fatty steak. That's what I would eat if I were to fall off a wagon. Now, I'm sure all of you guys are wondering, have I ever fallen off the wagon? I have not eaten anything more than a few stems of cilantro in my meals because I was at a family member's house where they cooked so graciously for me, carnivore, but they added some spices and some seasonings and herbs, cilantro, so I just ate it just out of respect. But besides that, there have been times where I have just eaten a whole block of cheese or 2 things of yogurt. And with my pasteurized dairy experiment, I definitely went overboard eating tons of pasteurized dairy. I did not beat myself up after eating a whole block of pasteurized cheese, the Kerrygold Dublinaire. Because the very next day, yes, I felt some brain fog. I felt a little bit puffy and bloated, felt like my sleep was a little disturbed, woke up in the middle of the night to pee, and I woke up feeling less than. So I don't beat myself up. I don't have those voices where like, Isabella, you freaking did it again. Like, why, you know? Don't beat yourself up for it. Just accept it. Know that you truly enjoyed every bite of it and move on. Now, just go back to eating what you know makes you feel amazing. So for me, that would be a beautiful, juicy steak. I would treat myself to a fatty, very, very fatty carnivore meal that I know I love and can digest well. So just know that your palate is not going to be as excited. It's not going to be as turned on and super fulfilled by all the fireworks of tastes. But guess what? That's not a natural human diet if you're eating about 1,000 types of different flavors and tastes, flavored with artificial flavorings and chemicals and processed sugars and this and that. That is not the way to eat. That is not what our taste buds were meant to taste. Our taste buds were meant to taste the pureness, the fatty deliciousness of a piece of meat, raw or cooked, of some gorgeous eggs, you know, of some animal fats. So just get back to eating fatty, and I really want to prioritize fatty meals that you love. So this is what I would recommend. For most people, this should work. Get yourself a fatty, juicy steak. Just treat yourself to it. Now, let's say you just can't. Get some fatty, fatty, fatty ground beef. That is usually the best thing you can do and the most affordable. Go to your grocery store now. Go buy some ground beef, okay? And I feel like ground beef is better than ground pork or ground lamb. Ground beef is just the best. Get a pound or 2 pounds or enough to really be ample for the couple days to come, okay? And also, while you're at it, get some butter that you love. Salted or unsalted, I just prefer unsalted. And get yourself a couple cartons of eggs. Do you call eggs carton? Carton of eggs? Get yourself a dozen of eggs or 2 or 3 dozens. That's what I would get. Immediately, I would go to the grocery store, get the stuff that I know will get me back on track. That's the first step. Do not reach for anything that is not carnivore. Do not reach for anything that you're trying to avoid. The first step is to not buy it. Don't keep it in the house. Go home, cook up that ground beef just the way you like it. Preferably turn it into a ground beef soup. How do you do that? Add water after you cook it or during the cooking process. Just add water and there you go. You have a nutritious, fatty, delicious soup that is completely carnivore and that is going to get you back on track. So I really recommend ground beef soup now that I think about it. I would probably make for myself 2 pounds of ground beef, turn it into a soup, and boil a couple hard-boiled eggs. I always find boiling eggs is best to reset the palate. You know, cooking eggs in butter sometimes is so flavorful and so delicious that it doesn't help with resetting hunger cues in the palate, just because the flavors are so beautiful. There's nothing wrong with eating buttery scrambled eggs, but I think if you just fell off the wagon, the best thing is ground beef soup and soft, hard, medium boiled eggs. That is the ideal meal right there. And I've tried this so many days where I feel like I have a flare up and I just want to get back on track or detox a little bit, or I ate too much cheese, yogurt. I will always do ground beef soup with boiled eggs. Now the amount is up to you. I will just trust that you're not going to count calories on your phone and measure the weight and make sure you're eating less than, you know. I want you guys to eat in abundance and not feel like you have to restrict. You don't, okay? Don't feel like you're an anomaly, that you're gaining weight because you just can't eat more than X amount. You can. Your body just needs the time to heal, okay? So eat as much as you want of the ground beef soup and as many boiled eggs as you want. Now, after that, after you've cooked that and you're about to eat it, let's say you're eating your ground beef soup and your delicious eggs and you feel like you kind of want some fat, then go get the butter sticks. Freeze it up ahead of time if you like my frozen butter tactic, or just eat room temp butter, or top the butter on your ground beef soup. Delicious. Or eat it with the boiled eggs. Whatever it is, if you still feel like you need some more oomph and fat, add some butter. Add some beef suet, add some raw fatty salmon. But honestly, I would really stick to just beef, eggs, butter as the most variety. Even better is if you were to just eat fatty beef and that's it. Water and fatty beef, water and fatty beef for a couple meals. But I find the most fulfilling and satiating meal is ground beef soup, boiled eggs, and some butter on the side. That is the perfect meal for whenever I want to get back on track. So there you go. That's my ideal meal, and I feel like that's the best meal for you, especially if you fell off the wagon and you are feeling horrible and you desperately want to get back on track so you can feel amazing again. Now, with the holidays approaching, Christmas and New Year's, which is the few days where junk is most consumed, besides Thanksgiving as well, you know, if you know you're going to be in a social setting or in a family gathering or party where there is going to be a huge table of foods that you're going to want to eat, that is not carnivore, then you need to stay prepared. I highly recommend you guys check out my holiday prevention video. I give you all and every tip I can possibly think of to help you stay on track when you're in the circumstance, when you're in the setting where the food is literally right in front of you, what you can do to stay strong and push through still as a carnivore. So watch that video, but basically the best thing you can do if you're going to go to a setting where there's bad foods is to eat beforehand, okay? And also to really prioritize eating tons and tons of fats before even getting there. Just get there with a belly full of meat and fats already. You don't want to get to any of those settings hungry, because you're going to be feeling very vulnerable and weak and prone to falling off the wagon. These are the main tips and advice that I can think of at this moment. I do prefer to make videos, at least YouTube videos, in a more spontaneous way. So this morning I felt this urge to just make a video on what to do if you already fell off track. So I do hope that this video was helpful to you guys. These tips that I could think of just in this moment, feeling super inspired and wanting to help. And I do believe that the comment section is always a great way to learn too. I appreciate all of you guys who share your advice, your knowledge, what you have found very helpful. So please continue to do so. And you can definitely help my channel grow by subscribing, turning on the bell notifications, and liking this video, as well as recommending my channel to your friends, your colleagues, your classmates, your coworkers, your family members, your dogs and cats. You can recommend my channel, my Instagram, to whoever you care about and allow me to help them out too. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, your evening, wherever you are. I'm sending you all of my love, all of my fatty meat fueled love, and I wish you all the best. Follow me on Instagram, send me a DM if you want to connect with me. I hope to see you guys in the next video. SPG out.